Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how Agilepoint NX platform can be used to create applications which integrate with IoT devices. First, I'm going to walk you through the demo scenario. So let's switch to this PPT. So I'm going to demonstrate a managed fire alarm system. The business scenario is that for a fire alarm management company today, they face a lot of false alarms which are reported on daily basis, which reduces the efficiency of the fire alarm management company. There are delays in reacting to emergencies due to that, and lack of tracking and visibility for executives of the fire alarm management company is also there. And no way to provide the feedback to the fire alarm sensor to increase the limit temporarily in case of a fire alarm. The proposed solution is bringing together of the device which is monitoring the fire alarm system and the CRM system together using BPM process to provide supervisor a real-time visibility of the case and provide him a way of setting extended temperature limits in case of a false alarm, which can be reset automatically when the exceptional situation is over. Like if a barbecue is going on at your house, if the temperature has gone up a little bit, if you can just increase the limit and request to increase the limit, and it would be automatically reset after a specified amount of time. Real-time tracking of each stage when an actual fire alarm case has been reported. Control the device settings over the network, which I'm going to show you in the demo, and results in enhanced security and improved efficiency. So the demo scenario is that I'm going to use a Raspberry Pi, which is connected to a BMP 280 chip, and when the temperature in the room goes beyond 90 degrees Fahrenheit, an Agilepoint process is kicked off, where the device ID, current temperature, pressure, altitude, they are all sent, streamed to Azure IoT HUB, which detects that if this is a critical situation, that means this is a not just a regular reading, telemetry reading. It's just it's a critical alarm situation. It would route it to a special service bus, which would be monitored by Agilepoint, and it kicks off a process, and it is also used to provide a cloud to device feedback as well. The process creates a new incidents records in Salesforce. We are using Salesforce as the customer management system. Notification is sent to the regional alarm supervisor through SMS as well as email. The client profile data and past alarm history is read from Salesforce and displayed to the supervisor in his dashboard. And he has an option of either increasing the temperature limit temporarily or mark the alarm as a valid one and dispatch a fire truck. At the end, the device is reset and the client feedback is obtained. The process I'm going to use for this is if it is a fire alarm kind of a situation, instead of a regular telemetry reading, it will kick off an Agilepoint process which reads the account information of from Salesforce. It gets the current supervisor who is on duty from Salesforce and assigns the task to that supervisor. If supervisor says that okay, this is a false alarm, we just will notify the customer and stop it. If it is a real alarm, then we assign him a task to dispatch the fire truck and update the case status back to Salesforce. When the fire truck arrives on site, then again the case status is updated, and finally when the fire is put under control, then the case status is again updated in Salesforce, and finally the client feedback is obtained and the device is reset. The softwares I'm going to use in this demonstration are Agilepoint, which is going to provide the workflow or the capabilities and the application builder capabilities. Azure IoT HUB, which will be used to capture the messages coming in from my Raspberry Pi, and if it is a normal telemetric reading, it will be sent to Power BI for regular reporting. So it captures a reading every 10-15 seconds on how the temperature is varying. But if it is alarm situation, critical fire alarm situation, it will call Agilepoint. And we are going to use Salesforce for managing the customer data. The hardware I'm going to use for this is a Raspberry Pi with a BMP 280 chip, which is used for sensing the temperature. Here is my circuit diagram, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. So let's switch into the demo. What I'm going to do is I'm going to project my phone on my desktop. So as you can see, here is my phone, and I'm going to start the camera of my phone. And here is the Raspberry Pi, which is connected, as you can see, to this BMP280 chip over here. So this is the circuit I'm using for monitoring my fire alarm. So let's put this and push it back. Okay. Now, as the next step, what I have done is, so that I can demonstrate this. Here is a remote management console, the Windows Azure IoT remote management console to manage my devices. So you can see that I am seeing over here a device called MinWin PC, which is a Raspberry Pi 2. And I can actually open the device in the portal over here and go to apps. And I'm remotely managing my app, which is the fire alarm management app. So you can see that the fire alarm management app is currently in the running status already on my Raspberry Pi. Now what it is doing in this whole process is that first it is, as I said, if it is a regular reading, every 15 seconds I'm taking some kind of telemetry readings which are being streamed through my Windows Azure IoT HUB over here. So I have under endpoints in Windows Azure IoT HUB, I'm using the regular message/events endpoint, which has a consumer group which I have defined. If I click over here, and I have a consumer group which I have defined called Fire Alarm Power BI. But if it is if it is a critical message, I have created a service bus over here. And in the service bus, I have specified that this is the service bus, and there is a queue called fire alarm queue, which has to be used by this. And I have defined a route that if it is a regular message, let it go to the regular messaging endpoint. But if it is a critical message, then send it to critical queue endpoint. And here is the rule: level equal to critical. So when the message comes in as critical message, the temperature is beyond the specified temperature limit, then send it to this queue which is being monitored by Agilepoint. Else send it to the regular message queue which is being monitored by the Power BI. Here is my Stream Analytic job which I have set, which is pushing the data. If you can see over here, if I scroll down to inputs, it is taking the input from IoT Hub, and as an output it is sending it to Power BI. And here is a simple query expression which I have written, that whatever is sent as an input, just send it to Power BI. And if you look at the Power BI settings, over here I have said that the data set name would be Fire Alarm IoT, and the table name would be Fire Alarm Metrics. So as you can see, here is my Stream Analytic job, and it is currently in the running status. Now if I switch to my Power BI window, here is the data set Fire Alarm IoT, and I have created a report called Fire Alarm from Raspberry Pi, and that's what I'm exposing over here. So this is the dashboard, and I have a report over here as well, Fire Alarm, this one. So what I'm showing is the event enqueue UTC time on the axis, and the value is temperature, and similarly for pressure as well. So you can see the other chart is showing the pressure. And if I wanted to see detailed readings, I've put a table on the second page as well. I also exposed it as a dashboard, so that's what I'm going to use. So if you see over here, let me refresh the dashboard once. So I'll switch to the dashboard window. If you see over here, the last reading which was captured is 80 degrees, and it's at 252.41. So as I said, it is streaming this data every 15 to 20 seconds from the device. And you can see the time is increased now. 252.56 is when the next reading comes in. If I refresh it once more, every 15 seconds. So let's just refresh it. So you see 253.10. So every 10-15 seconds a new reading is coming in. So that means these are the regular readings, because I've set the threshold as 90 degrees and current room temperature is 80.79. So it is not kicking off a fire alarm. Now, in order to simulate a fire alarm situation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and so that you can see that what's happening, I've written this test console application which will tell you, which will show you what different steps are happening that when a critical message is received, when the Agilepoint process is getting kicked off, when the Agilepoint process is getting completed, and it sends a message back to the Raspberry Pi device that change the temperature limit. All that would be shown in this console line application so that we can track the demo. So I'm going to actually start this, and at this point of time, no critical messages coming in. So you can see that it is not receiving any critical messages. Now, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this set temperature limit. What it is going to do is temporarily reduce the threshold to 70 degrees so that we can create a critical message. So I'm going to run this. As you can see, it is saying that it is resetting the temperature to 70 degrees for the device. And if we switch back to this window now, it says, okay, the device actually received that message that reduce your threshold to 70 degrees. A critical message has been sent by the device, and it says that the current temperature is 80, which is now more than 70 degrees. So kick off an Agilepoint process. It says Agilepoint process has been kicked off successfully as well. And here is the device ID and here is the temperature. Now what happens is if I again bring up my phone, if I bring it up again, I received an SMS that as a supervisor, that the new fire alarm incidents has been reported. Now I'll go back to my Agilepoint task list, refresh it, and there is a receive alert over here. If I open the task, what it does over here is it lists down the entire history that this is the current temperature. Here is the device ID, and remember I just passed the device ID, and using that device ID it did bring up pull up all the information from Salesforce. So all this information is coming from Salesforce, and what is my past alarm history. So if I switch back to Salesforce and go to fire alarm customer profile, you see this is the data which was showing up over there, and here are the past 3 alarms which have been kicked off. So if I switch over here, you can see the same 3. And in the first run, what I'm going to do is I call the customer and he says that he's having a barbecue, so that's why the temperature has gone up temporarily. So I'm going to just say extend the temperature limit to 95 for time being. For next, say 60 minutes, right? Increased temp due to barbecue, and click submit. So what we can see is the Agilepoint process would have got over. So if you can see over here, it went in and it just sent a notification to the customer, and the process is done. So if we switch back to that window, you can see that the process completed successfully for this device, and the new temperature is 95 and duration is 60. This message is now sent back from the process to Raspberry Pi, and you can see that the Raspberry Pi also said that it has successfully received the message and increased the temperature limit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this reset temperature once more to run another part of my demo scenario. So I'm again going to kick off. So now the device is back to the healthy state. Now I'm going to again reduce the temperature to 70 so that it kicks off a process again. And if I switch back to my window, that message is sent back to device. So it is just waiting for device to send me a critical message. Now a critical message came in that this is a fire alarm situation, and it has to kick off a process. So process has been kicked off successfully. So I'm going to show you a real fire alarm situation. I received an SMS as well. I'm going to open this task, and at the same time I'm going to keep this process open so that you can track it as well. So here is my process. It went to Salesforce, received all my information, picked up who is the supervisor on duty, and sent the task to him. He saw the whole history. Remember, I just marked one of the alarms as false alarm, and the new temperature limit was 95. So that is over here, the new row, right? And this time I'm going to actually trigger an alarm. faulty wiring or what, right? So I'm going to say, go ahead, complete this task. This is I call customer, and this is a real fire alarm situation. So it says that, okay, go ahead, dispatch the truck. So I'm going to refresh my task list. As part of the demo, I'm playing, putting on the hat for different people. So right now I'm completing all the steps so that I don't have to log in and log out. Over here, I'm going to put in the truck number. It's dispatch time, and I'll just say truck dispatched, and it captures who has put the comment. Now if I switch back to my process viewer, the truck would be dispatched and the status would be updated in Salesforce, right? Now when the person arrives on site, the truck driver can come, or the supervisor can complete this task. So again, I'm playing the supervisor now, and go to my task list, open this task, look at everything and say, okay, the truck has arrived, and here is the arrival time. So entire thing is tracked, and it is going to again update Salesforce that the truck has arrived and firemen has started doing their work. Finally, you'll see that the fire control acknowledgement has to be sent by the fireman. So once the fire has been controlled, the supervisor on site says fire controlled and device reset. Submit it back, and again if I switch back, you'll see the final status has been updated in Salesforce, which I'll show you in a minute. If I go to Salesforce and refresh, there are 2 more entries over here, and it says this was the first entry where I said increased temperature due to barbecue, and I'm going to show you this entry, which is faulty wiring. Remember, I just put this comment, right? So, and the status has been changed to fire control. Okay, so let me switch back over here, and finally the supervisor gets back a task to get the client feedback. So I say, okay, 5-star feedback, great service. And that task can be sent to the customer directly as well using anonymous forms, of course. And the process is over. Now, as soon as the process gets over, you should see again receive feedback equal to success over here, where the device has been reset, and it's so while the fire alarm situation is there, the process was the device was stopped so that it doesn't keep sending duplicate messages. But as soon as I completed the process, the device is notified that again start functioning, and the temperature limit has been set back to 90 degree Fahrenheit or whatever was the limit set. So this is how I integrated a Raspberry Pi with the BMP280 chip, which streams the data through Azure IoT HUB. To either, if it is a telemetry reading, it sends it to Power BI, and if it is alarm situation, it sends it to a different service bus, which Azure Service Bus, which is being monitored by Agilepoint, and which kicks off a process where and as part of the whole process, it also communicates back to the device to reset the temperature or reset the status if it was a real fire and it has been controlled. Thank you for your time.